I was brought up in the Church of England, but spent most of my teens and early 20s as an atheist, quite a vociferous one. And it was only kind of my early 20s that I became unable to dodge for any longer the question of faith. So when I became a Christian, by that time I'd probably already been converted from being an Anglican atheist to being a Catholic atheist, in that a lot of the people I argued with were Catholics. So when God made God's self unignorable, I became a Catholic.
Why a Jesuit, though, specifically?
Don't know. In the sense that I had this idea in my head in the years after entering the church that I wanted to do this full time, that I wanted to make this experience somehow be the heart of me. And I thought, well, how do you do that? And I suppose in my naivety at the time, I thought, well, I've got to be a priest. Somehow that's what it means to be doing this. And I didn't really know much about that. But I remember going to talk to my parish priest when I was still at university, doing my chemistry studies. And there was this nagging feeling that maybe I should be a priest. Maybe it was 10% probability. And then even further back in my mind was this sense, maybe you should be a Jesuit. And that was perhaps about 1%. And I wasn't even sure I knew what that meant. But it was there and it wouldn't go away. Went to see my parish priest and to talk about, well, what do you have to do to become a priest? And is it going to make any sense? And I think I was lucky that I think I went to talk to a depressive. I think my parish priest was not very happy with his lot. And the more he talked about it, the more I thought, not for me. God, that's off the list. It seems so solitary and unpleasant a life. And as I was making that coming to that conclusion, the doorbell rang and somebody come to see him. So I was shunted off into the church to pray for 5 minutes while he dealt with whoever it was wanting money at the door. And at that moment, sitting in the church, it was this kind of transition from, okay, that's the priesthood out. And suddenly what had been 1%, was now at the top of the list. So I went straight back up the road and saw a Jesuit that I knew and said, tell me about this. And kind of followed it from there. The actual spirituality and what keeps me interested and what excites me now is only something that I kind of found out about as we went along. And I was lucky, I think, very lucky, that the more I found out, the more excited I was by it and the more it seemed to make sense of things.